The desert stretched endlessly, golden under the burning sun, quiet except for the wind whispering through the canyons. Out there rode Cole Hartman, a man carved from the same dust and grit that built the, West. He'd been a drifter for years. No home, no family. Just a horse named Justice and a trail of stories too dark to tell twice. But this day destiny was waiting, wrapped in smoke, danger and the sound of a distant cry. Cole pulled his reins tight, his horse stopping with a snort. There, across the desert plain, a column of black smoke twisted into the sky. Fire. A village was burning. The scent of ash and terror carried on the wind, and through it he heard something faint, a scream. Without a second thought, he dug his boots into Justice's sides and rode hard. The world became a blur of sand and flame as the canyon opened into a small Apache camp under attack. Raiders, 3 of them, men with greed in their eyes and rifles in their hands, circling like vultures around a terrified young woman. She was bound, struggling to escape as the fire crept closer. Cole didn't think, he acted. The revolver in his hand flashed once, then twice. 2 raiders fell. The 3rd turned, startled, but the cowboy was already charging through the smoke, his coat catching embers, his heart pounding louder than the thunder of hooves. "Get down!" he shouted, leaping from the saddle and cutting her ropes. She fell into his arms, coughing through the thick smoke. Her eyes met his, dark, fierce, but full of fear. "My name's Cole," he said, pulling her up. "We gotta move." The campfire exploded as an oil barrel burst nearby. Flames roared, circling them like the breath of hell itself. Cole grabbed her hand and ran toward the horse, shielding her from the heat. Justice neighed in panic, but the cowboy's voice steadied him. With one final leap, Cole swung her onto the saddle and climbed behind her. "Hold on tight." They rode through the inferno. Sparks flew like stars, embers biting at their skin. The woman, barely conscious, clung to him as the fire closed in from all sides. Cole leaned low, whispering to his horse, "Come on, boy." Through the fire. "Through it!" The world turned orange and gold. For a moment, Cole thought he'd die right there, swallowed by flame and smoke. But then light. They burst through the wall of fire into open air. The desert wind hit their faces like salvation. Behind them, the camp burned to ashes. He slowed the horse by a stream a mile away. The woman collapsed, breathing heavily. Cole tore his canteen open and gave her water. She drank greedily, trembling. "Thank you," she whispered hoarsely. They killed my people." Cole nodded slowly, his eyes shadowed. "I'm sorry, miss. My name is Nayeli," she said. "You shouldn't have saved me. The desert spirits. They'll follow now." Blood has been spilled. Cole gave a half smile. "Spirits or not, I ain't about to let an innocent woman burn." But as the sun sank below the canyon, something strange moved in the sand around them. A hiss, then another. Nayeli froze. "They're here," she whispered. "The serpents of vengeance." Cole looked down. Dozens of snakes slithered through the dusk, circling them slowly. Their eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the dying firelight from the horizon. He reached for his gun again. "You've got to be kidding me." As night fell, Cole realized this wasn't just a rescue. This was the beginning of something darker, something that would test his courage, his fate and the fire inside his soul. The night was black and silent, save for the hissing that grew louder, closer. The desert floor shimmered under the moonlight, alive with movement. Cole stood in front of Nayeli, his revolver steady, his eyes scanning the darkness. "They're not ordinary snakes," Nayeli whispered. "They come for those who disturb the balance. You saved me, but you took a life to do it." Cole's jaw tightened. "I'd do it again." He fired. The first snake exploded into the sand. But for every one he shot, 3 more appeared. Slithering from the shadows, coiling around rocks, their tongues tasting the air. The desert felt alive, pulsing with danger. Nayeli knelt, chanting softly in her native tongue, tracing symbols into the dirt. The ground trembled faintly like something ancient stirring beneath. "They won't stop until they take one of us," she said, tears glinting in her eyes. "It's the law of blood." Cole holstered his gun and stepped closer. "Then they'll have to take me." He grabbed a burning branch from their small campfire, waving it as the snakes lunged. Flames danced, shadows flickered, and Cole fought like a man possessed, swinging, kicking, shouting through the chaos. The Apache woman watched in horror as he stood between her and the crawling death that surrounded them. A massive rattlesnake, thick as his arm, reared up, its fangs glowing faintly under the moon. Cole fired his last bullet, click empty. "Damn it!" He swung the branch again, but the snake struck, biting deep into his arm. He groaned, stumbling backward, the firelight reflecting in his eyes. "Cole!" Nayeli screamed, running to him. She tore a strip of her dress and tied it around his arm, trying to stop the venom. "You can't fight it!" Cole's breath came ragged, sweat pouring down his face. "I didn't come this far to die now," he growled. With the last of his strength, he lifted the torch and drove it straight into the snake's open jaws. The creature writhed, burned, and turned to ash. The others hissed and scattered into the darkness. When silence finally returned, Cole fell to his knees. Nayeli caught him, cradling his head in her lap. "You saved me," she whispered softly. "But why?" He looked up at her, half smiling despite the pain. "Maybe destiny wanted me to." She placed her hand over his heart. "Then destiny will remember your name, Cowboy." The night sky shimmered faintly with dawn. As the first light touched the horizon, the snakes were gone. The desert lay still again, peaceful at last. Cole struggled to stand, his body weak but his spirit unbroken. Nayeli helped him onto his horse. Together they rode toward the sunrise, two souls bound by fire, blood, and fate. As they disappeared over the ridge, the wind carried their story. Across the canyons, the legend of the cowboy, who rode through fire and fought snakes to save the Apache woman. And somewhere deep in the sands of destiny, their footprints remained, a reminder that courage, love, and sacrifice never die. If you were moved by their story, hit that subscribe button and join us for more epic tales of courage, destiny, and the untamed Wild West.